recording this. Okay, all set.
Okay, great. Okay, good evening, everyone. I'd like to call to order the November 10th, 2022 Board of Directors meeting for the City of Norwalk Public Library.
Anything,
Um,
speaker.
I think if we can start with approval of the September 8th meeting minutes. Does anyone have any changes or edits to them?
I do. It's just grammatical errors. Like on section 3, was it addition to the agenda? It's page 1. It says you need to add a space. You need to add it between the date and the word start. And then in section where it talks about GNLV, number 5, just remove the the. It should say many students, not many the students. So that's my only thing when I went through it.
Anyone else? Okay, can someone move to accept the meeting minutes, approve the meeting minutes of September 8th? Laurel moves.
I'll second.
Okay, we'll second with Janie's edits, please. Okay, so moving on. All in favor? Say, everyone okay? Anyone abstain? Mary is abstaining. She wasn't at the meeting, so. Do we have anyone on who has any public comments aside from our guests?
We do not.
Okay. Any additions to the agenda before we move on to our guests? No. Okay, great. So, Sherelle, I'm going to let you introduce some of the guests that we have on the call right now.
Okay, so we have Lauren Thompson, who's the newest member to our Norwalk Public Library team. We also have the Gill, Patsy Gill is on. She's not feeling well, so I just want to be respectful of that because I know she wants to kind of get on and get off. She's really not feeling well. And then we also have Shelley Young and the Gill and Gill presentation and Shelley's presentation will tie into each other because they're both with Greater Norwalk Literacy Volunteers. So first up, we have Lauren Thompson, who's been with us maybe all of 2 weeks as our new branch manager, and I will let her introduce herself.
Good evening, everyone. My name is Lauren Thompson. I come to you through Meriden and before that Hartford, and I'm really excited to get started with this library. I've been working here, it's been just under a month, and I've met some really great people, and I'm really excited to work together.
Thank you, Lauren.
Welcome, Lauren.
Thank you.
And I just want to say, I wish I could have gone to the puppet show today, or I wish I had little kids that I could bring to the puppet show. It looked so adorable.
It was great. We had a really good turnout. About 30 people came. It was good.
Very good. Welcome once again.
Thank you.
Yes, welcome. Hi, this is Alex. Sorry to join a little bit late.
Hi, Alex.
All right.
So next we have Patsy Gill. Patsy, do you have anyone else with you? I don't. Oh, Richard Todd. I see Richard Todd.
Yeah, Richard should be listening in.
Yep, I do see him. So I want to thank you again for taking the time to join us, and particularly because I know you don't feel well. So
It's okay.
I'm not sure if you have anything that you need to share.
Well, I assume that you guys all have seen the 2 options that we prepared for the lower level floor plan.
Mm-hmm.
And we just wanted to get feedback on if one of them meets your needs, or if we need to refine, pick one and refine it, or,
You just walk through the differences. I found the plans so schematic, a little hard to, grasp.
okay, well, so trying to get this, but I don't have it on this computer. So on this one, the back room is the same L shape that it is now. So you walk in, right now you walk in, at least last time I was there was a table right in front of you. And then around the corner, there's a desk, office area. And so, but then if we leave it as a meeting room, then all of the staff members are kind of in the middle there, squished together. And so the second option divides that space in the back off here. And then the middle space where you walk in, the 3 staff members are spread out a lot more. They have more space there. The other 2 rooms are the same in both schemes. So, assuming there's the right number of staff members shown and the right number of meeting spaces, I think dividing off that L-shaped space makes a lot of sense.
So is that the second one?
Yeah, yes, it's scheme B on the drawing.
Scheme B, right? Yeah.
Yeah, yes.
Does anyone have any questions?
Yeah, am I muted?
You're not, Patsy.
Oh, okay, because I had a hard time getting in for some reason. Yeah, I just want to recap where we are with this project. There's a budget allocation for the project. At what amount?
So basically Gill and Gill was basically giving us the options of what we can do with the room. The budget, let me just see, I just have that. So I'm just looking to see how much we've spent already. So we have roughly 95,000 to do the project.
And I looked in my file, I couldn't find a breakdown cost for the project. Do we have that?
I emailed you and said that I'll get that.
But from
Gill-
Gill and Gill, have you done an estimate of the project?
No,
Basically,
as far as I know, I don't think.
so I guess
Richard,
once we decide, we can get that information, but right now they was giving us the options of what we can do with the room.
Yeah, I mean, scheme A was doing really very minimal work, and scheme B is only a little tiny bit more. So I think budget wise, either scheme B is doable. But I don't know what your
else
budget
besides
has
the
to
petition?
cover.
Yeah, well, I don't know that either, which is why I'm asking the question. And I wanted us to get educated to that because we did look at the space a couple of weeks ago.
Yes.
And, so we visualized the potential petition of that space. And then we talked about carpeting and painting and cleaning up, but what else is
And
involved?
furniture,
And new furniture?
and the furniture for it, because the whole purpose of the project is to give us three
Rooms.
classrooms.
Yeah, yeah.
And better, space for the people working there. So we would need furniture for the rooms, the carpeting and the painting and whatever else, what do you call it, TVs, so that they can, or smart boards, so they can work off of their smart boards, recording. So
Okay, but so where, I'm sorry, but I'm confused on it. And where did the allocation request for 100,000 come from? To itemize the plans,
So,
this for the specs, the architects weren't asked to do that, or were they? Is that part of what they've been asked to do?
not yet, but I think that's gonna be a follow-up. Neil basically brought them in to give us, basically what we can do, and I'm sure that's gonna be the second phase. Once we decide whether we're gonna do, Plan A or Plan B, then he'll follow up with the rest of the work. And Neil is, for those who don't know, is
Yeah,
Guardian,
okay.
our
Okay,
building
So
manager.
then if we don't have that information now, I don't know if Miss Gill can give us an idea of would A or B be more expensive? Which one is less expensive? Is there a differential at all?
Well, I think that scheme A is a little less expensive because there's less construction work.
Yeah.
But it's pretty minor, the amount of difference. But we haven't done, a revised ceiling plan with lighting and any kind of electrical outlets and things that would need to be shifted around. So once we were gonna understand which scheme you prefer, then we could use that one and do a good breakdown for you.
Okay, so we don't have a breakdown at the moment.
Not at present.
Okay,
So it sounds like we would need to choose one and then we would get a breakdown and see where it is in terms of our budget and move from there, right? Does that sound correct?
It sounds about right, yes, ma'am.
Okay. That sounds good. I mean, I think, we'll probably talk among ourselves and consult with the staff to see which they prefer. And assuming that they'll both be, you're saying that it's not, the differential is not that great between the two in terms of pricing. We can look at the price afterwards.
Yeah. But also, do we have input from the users there, which plan they prefer?
Shelley, are you there? When Shelley looked at it, she thought
Yes.
Plan B
Yeah.
was the better one. as
Yeah.
far as
B?
staffing, yeah. Shelley, are you there? Are you?
Yes, ma'am. I'm here. Mhm. Oh, can you hear me?
No, we
Yes.
can hear you.
Oh, okay. Yeah. So, I'm so sorry.
Not yet, we're not ready for you to.
Oh, okay. I'm
go
so
part.
sorry.
They were just asking about the
Mhm.
differences in the two plans that
Yeah.
I sent to you as well.
Mhm.
And which one they prefer, which one they liked, which was, if they're the users, they have a better understanding of their needs than we do. So I
Sure.
was interested in their input.
Mhm. Yes.
Just to let you know, I work with Shelley, volunteer with her. So the one that I would pick is the option B,
Mhm.
because
Yeah.
that gives you more room
Mhm.
Mhm.
and breaks up, because I don't think you need that whole big wasted space. It uses all the space and it gives more room.
Okay,
And
that's helpful. Thank you.
Yeah,
Mm.
that's how I feel too. We need to
just-
give. I'm sorry.
Shelley's usually
No,
a lot
go
more
ahead, Shelley.
talkative.
Oh,
Go
I'm
ahead.
so sorry. Yeah, I think the Plan B, give us more room, and I think that will give us more classrooms for the teachers too, and so we can accommodate more classes. Thank
Perfect.
you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Just not quite sure how to read the plan. In Plan B, there is one staff at the bottom of the drawing. There's one in the middle and there's one at the top. And the one in the middle has something next to it, and I can't read what it says. Is that a closet? Is that a?
No, there's 2 dimension lines and then it just says work/reception.
Oh, so it's just open space.
It's just open space.
Okay, thank you.
Any other questions?
I mean, it sounds like Plan B is the direction that we need to move in, right?
Yes.
I mean, that's
Yeah.
where everybody seems. So, should we just move forward with Plan B and then Gil and Gil can get us a detailed pricing on that?
Yes, we already have, the existing ceiling plan and lighting all drawn up, so we know what's there that would be affected by the work. And we can do a proposed ceiling plan based on, B. And then, we'll probably need to, sit down with Cheryl or someone, about specific, maybe specific power needs, specific finishes, and things like that.
Yeah, we normally would do a walkthrough with Neil,
Okay,
like we did in the beginning when we first met with him. Once we
all
get
right,
the option that we choose, then we can do all the, all of that, do the walkthrough with him.
okay. Okay, good.
Any other questions for Patsy or for Richard?
It's another Patsy.
Right.
That's what I told her in the beginning too. Look out.
How unusual.
Patsy, thank you so much, and particularly again, because I know you're not feeling well.
Sure.
and Thank you for taking the time to be with us this evening.
That's
Thank you.
okay. Thank
as
you.
well.
Thank you. We're excited to move this forward after a long hiatus. So, yeah, thank you.
Okay, thank
Thank
you.
you very much. And Shelley. So Shelley, just to give a little background, Shelley has been with the library, I think since 2006, 2007. Having started out at Sono, working with very many people very successfully. She's very humble, probably a little more chatty than you can see her tonight. I think she's a little nervous, but just a phenomenal part of our team. So Shelley, I'll let you introduce. So you'll hear a little bit more about how the space will be used. So Shelley, I'll turn it over to you.
Thank you, Cheryl. Thank you. Good evening. My name is Shelley Young. I'm so happy to be with you today to talk about Greater Norwalk Literacy Volunteers Program. Some of you I know, some of you I don't know. So to give you a little of my background, I grew up in Taiwan, and I attended Brigham Young University in Hawaii in 1993 and received a degree in teaching English to speakers of other languages, also known as TESOL. I moved back to Taiwan after I graduated. In 2006, I moved to California. In 2007, I moved to Norwalk. That's where I met Cheryl. While I was working at the South Norwalk Branch Library, the standard and efficiencies for all staff were very, very high. I learned not to be stereotypical in my work with other cultures, and I embraced that sincerity. I get to know the people who we were serving. The opportunity prepared me for my work with literacy volunteers. I began my work there during the pandemic. When the pandemic hit, instead of shutting down the program, we moved our classes to Zoom. During that time, we had many new students who wanted to enroll into our programs. Then we went through trainings and make Norwalk an online testing site. The testing program is called CASAS, and it is very extensive. Before we become a testing site, we had to go through, I say, like at least 7 or 8 training modules. We are grateful that we can put Norwalk on the map to become an online testing site. So to give you a little background on how it works, both tutors and students were asked to fill out an application. From the student's application, we can tell what the students need from the program. From the application, we can also know that students' nationalities, if the students need help speaking with their children's teacher, or do they need to get driver's license or pass citizenship tests, and if they want to get a better job opportunities. So students can choose to test online or in person. Students really appreciate the online testing because they don't need to worry about childcare, transportation, and working schedules. After the test, we determine students' level, if they are beginners, intermediate, or advanced. And then we make them, match them with tutors. We take students' privacy very seriously because we do have students who are not documented. We cross out students' addresses and birthdays before we give tutors students' information. When the tutor gets the student's application, they will understand the student's needs, and the tutors will give them the curriculum that they look for. So far that we have 30 tutors and 215 students. People are resurfacing after the pandemic. We are very happy to see more students join our classes. We have a group of dedicated tutors. 2 weeks ago, we attended the CON-TESOL conference at Sacred Heart University. We get together to debrief after the meeting, and we will come together to present to our group. Thank you very much for the opportunity to share with you about Greater Norwalk Literacy Volunteers Program. Let me know if you have any questions. Thank you.
Thank you, Kelly, so much. That's really interesting.
Thank you.
I'm glad to hear that glad to hear all of that, and kind of amazed that we have such a thriving program. So it's great.
Yes, we do. Thank you. Thank you for your encouragement.
May I ask you 2 questions?
Yes, sir.
First, congratulations and thank you.
Thank you.
Is that high number of students higher or lower than it was before the pandemic?
Actually now, I have been like focusing on like our online testing. So I don't really have the number of the before pandemic, but I can get that to Sherelle and then she can give it to you after. Is that okay?
Yes, that's great. Thank you.
Thank
And the
you so
second
much.
question is,
Yes.
other than Spanish,
Yes.
what are the next 3 most required languages for tutors to teach our students?
Thank you for asking that. So we do have a lot of students from Haiti, so Creole and also Haitian, and also Chinese. We start getting more Chinese students, and also we have students from Ukraine. So we start having a lot of students from Ukraine, and it's really nice to see them come and join us.
Thank you. Just out of curiosity, we used to have quite a large population from Colombia. Do you still have students from Colombia?
Yes, sir, we do. We still have a lot of group, I should say huge group of students from Colombia. So it's very nice to have them join us too.
Thank you.
And yeah, I have a question. Age group demographics, just what's the gamut of the basic age group, is it children, or is it, adults, or?
We do adults, we don't do children. So
Yeah.
they have to be 18 and older, and they shouldn't be in high school. Yeah, they should be in the college, so 18 and older. Yes.
Kelly, do we have more like young people? I have it actually somewhere when we did that report, more young, I'm sorry, I lost my screen. Just say more 25 to 30 or more middle age.
I think we have more middle-aged students. Yeah, we have one student. Actually, we have 2 students there in their 80s, and I just so admire them still coming in here and learn. It's so nice.
Are you talking about the married couple?
The married couple, and also we have another married couple join us. They're from
Okay.
Argentina. Mhm.
Okay.
Great.
Thank
Well,
you.
and theoretically, aren't they,
They published, we use something called Easy English News. It was
Yes.
in the paper maybe 2 years ago. It was in, I would think both Nancy on Norwalk and the Hour. One of them, their goal was to publish, and she actually published in Easy English News, which is what we use for the program.
Mhm.
So phenomenal. I mean, just so phenomenal.
Yes. Uh-huh.
so for the younger students,
Yes.
they're the responsibility of the school system, aren't they?
Well, actually, we don't have a lot of younger students. We
We
did
don't
have.
have any. All of our students are over 18.
Over
so they're out of
18.
school.
Mhm.
Right, because under the arrangements, kids under 18 go to the school system.
Mhm.
Sure.
or
I
Yes.
think
they're-
it's called, the program is called Strive in the school system.
Mhm.
I know we were trying to work out some, very cooperative relationships between our program and the school system. I don't know who runs it now, but Heidi Godleski, I think, used to run a lot of the program in the school system.
Mhm. I'm not sure. We have, there've been several changes, but I do know that Dr. Estrella, she's been phenomenal, even with changing the curriculum to making sure that people are not, and Shelley and I talk about this a lot, about, just because people don't speak English doesn't mean they're not intelligent. So the part of our application, we want to know the highest level of education they had in their own country. And Dr. Estrella is really working on curriculum to help, the incoming students and the students in Strive, the students who are refugees. So just taking all of that very seriously.
I have a couple of questions, Shelley.
Yes, ma'am.
Yeah, so of your current students, how many are coming into the office and how many are still online? And how do you think that's going to change over time?
Mhm. Yes, so our classes are still online, and we are trying to take the poll from the students and see how many students will be interested in coming to the classroom after we do the renovation, and how many students wants to do online classes. Yeah, but I did get a lot of answers from the students that because it's so convenient, so they enjoy being online, so they don't need to worry about childcare, they don't need to worry about transportation, and especially also their working schedules. Mhm.
Okay. And then I guess the other question I had was, what do you not have that you think you would need to make your program as successful as it could be? Like think about that. Please talk to Sherelle, and Sherelle will come to,
Yes.
the board, because, this is a really important program, and
Thank you.
we want you to have the resources that you need to make it as successful as it can be. So
Thank you so much for all your support. Do appreciate. And I'll talk to Sherelle, and we'll have Sherelle get that to you. Thank you. Do appreciate. Mhm.
And Shelley, thank you, because you have such
Thank
a
you.
warm and welcoming personality. People really feel comfortable with you. What she didn't mention is that she also takes the time to tutor some of the tutors as well as the students if they're not technologically savvy. So whether it's Zoom, and so she has a tremendous amount of patience, and her heart just toward the program is phenomenal.
Thank you,
So
Sherelle.
for that welcoming spirit. She does a lot that she's not speaking, very humble, extremely
Oh, thank
humble.
She's, I can speak to that. She's very humble
Oh,
and
thank
she
you.
loves taking care of those students. It's amazing. If you ever see her in the classroom, you'll be amazed because she really is humble, and those students love her. It's
Oh,
amazing.
Thank you so much.
I see it, I know, so I'm speaking from what I see and what I know, so.
And she also
Yeah.
started the,
Thank you.
what was it, Shelley? It was the book club.
Oh, yeah, the
Yes.
summer.
And they really loved it. She also Shelley lives further upstate, but she came down to make sure she had, great connections. And she was able to get certificates from the local vendors, also like bigger box stores like Walmart. She listened to what their needs are and she came down. I told her I would help, but she goes, no, I'll do it. And so just very quiet behind the scenes, but she really takes care of that program.
Thank you so much. Thank
Great.
you. Thank you. Do appreciate for you. Thank you. We do have students got their gift certificate and they thank our program. They got one mom's got 2 mugs from Home Goods and she just felt like so thankful. And so I just feel like very thankful that Sherelle gave me the opportunities to be able to learn from the program. So thank you. Mhm.
It's not Sherelle, it's Shelley.
Oh, thank you.
All right,
Thank you,
Shelley,
Sherelle.
thank you so much.
Thank you, Sherelle.
For being, does anyone else have any other questions? All right, so I'm gonna thank Shelley and Lauren
you.
for joining us.
Thanks, Shelley.
Thank you. Thank you, everybody.
Okay.
Have a
I'll
nice
see you
evening.
guys. So Shelley, start thinking of all those things that you need.
Yes.
Mhm. And
I
Lauren,
will.
thank you too. Thank you.
Have a
Thank
good
you.
You too.
Have a good night.
Thank you,
Night.
everybody.
All right.
Bye-bye.
Okay.
Okay, so I think, is that all our guests? I think, yeah.
Yeah.
Hey, so before I get into my president's report, I just want to give a couple of shout outs. I want to thank Ralph. I was kind of lucky enough to be a volunteer at the book sale for the morning of the book sale, and it was quite. I've gone over the years to buy books, but this is the first time I kind of really saw the operation in full swing, and it was only a little bit of it, but people were waiting in line around the building, and it was a tremendous effort. And I know you've been doing this for so many years, so thank you, Ralph, and thank you to the Friends of the Library. It's all like very, very much appreciated.
Thank you
I-
very much.
What did you say?
Thank you very much. It's always nice to hear things like that.
It was amazing. And I'm kind of very, very fascinated by the subculture of book resellers. It's kind of like been on my mind. I was like, this is really interesting what they're doing. So, I also want to, I know that since I was also, kind of able to attend the indie author event, and I know that Sherelle has shared with us about some of the things about Cindy, but thank you to everyone over at Maine who put that event on. I happened to be there at the time that they took that photograph of all of the authors, and I felt really proud to be from Norwalk and see all these people from all over the state come to our library to share their work, and to know that we're kind of a library that's like thinks ahead. And I'm sure Alex's wife sold a lot of copies because she seems to be the star, kind of a star of the show. I know I'm missing a lot of other things, and I also want to.
Just to be clear, we have a lot more books for sale here. So people should.
I think I need to.
Christmas is coming. I tell you, it's a
I'm
great gift.
sure. So Sherelle's going to talk more about the election, and I know we have the November 14th Wall Street plan coming up, and then I also saw Vicky's note about Halloween, and it's just really tremendous to see all of this activity around both libraries and all, post-COVID, how much action and how much life there is in the library. And I feel, and I'm very thankful to to Sherelle and the staff for creating all that energy. So,
Yeah, the indie author was phenomenal. And just the fact that, you know, many people, independent publishers, they don't have agents, you know, they don't have publicists. So the fact that we get to act as their, you know, in that capacity for the weekend is phenomenal for them. And then we do have the local author corner. So near the Blue Teapot. And actually we had someone come in today and they missed it and they were so upset, but we directed them to that corner. So so kudos to the staff. It's a class act, total class act.
Sherelle, are there any other libraries around us that do anything similar to that?
Not that I know of. I'm not saying they don't, but not
Yeah.
that I know of. But
Okay.
that's actually a really good question.
Mm.
But to be honest, I think Norwalk Public Library leads the way, Patsy.
Well, we should toot our own horn.
and I know Laurel was a very big part of that as well. So you know, both as a moderator and as an author. So so that's really great. We're lucky to have her on the board as well. So so moving on, I just about the governance subcommittee, just wanted to give you all an update. At our last meeting, we said we were going to form the committee. The committee has been formed. It includes myself, Janie, Alex, Laurel, and Sharon. And we met on November 2nd and had a very good discussion about issues related to governance. We all agreed that it's our goal to have a memo to the mayor and the common council to be written by the end of December. So just, and our next, I'll give you a kind of a little outline of some of the things that we talked about in our discussion, but just to give you our next steps, which are, our next step is to research other similar municipalities in Connecticut and get their structure and their organization and their city codes to have some basis for, you know, moving forward for ourselves. So, so our discussion was first of all framed in such a way that, and this is, I think it's very important for us to know that this is not about any current mayor or current administration or current library director. It was very important to talk about governance in a much broader context of, you know, years to come type of thing. And we all agreed on kind of the primary role that the state statute plays. One area of kind of point of discussion is that the city ordinance is not, you know, is just a part of the state statute. So I think that there is some room to discuss the city ordinance in that capacity. You know, we are kind of a municipal library, a hybrid situation, so that we are definitely a part of the city, but I think there was some agreement that we also want to protect the independence of the library, especially with relation to, you know, being tied, protect our independence, because we don't want to be kind of in the throes of like political machinations that are happening today around libraries. You know, the creation of the community services department, there are a lot of questions around that. So we want some clarity from the city about our role and the role of the community services department. We agree that it's a good thing to work with the community services department and, you know, help the library become, you know, have access to all these services or be part of the services that Norwalk provides. We talked about looking into how other boards and commissions function. You know, kind of the board, with a board, a staff, an executive director within this context of the city. And then we talked about the need to try and present, to make sure that we can present an unamended budget to the city. And the need for research. So if any of my committee members would like to chime in about some of the other, you know, anything else that they feel I'm leaving out. But our next step is research, so.
Marna, do you have a copy of the detail from the Evergreen report with their suggestions for the changes?
Oh, yeah, we do. Yeah,
You know, okay.
for sure.
I
I mean,
could-
I would have the report, so I don't know if there's something else when you say detail.
Well, there's like 3 or 4 pages in their report that functions on our chart and a suggested
Yeah,
chart
yeah, yep. absolutely.
reorganization. Okay,
We have that, yeah.
okay.
Okay, if there are no questions, so we are meeting again on November 22nd. So, in which we'll kind of have some of the research done and start outlining a memo. And then the walkthrough, and Sherelle, please feel free to tag team here. I thank you all for, most of you were there in attendance. I thought it was a morning really well spent. I speak for myself when I say I saw nooks and crannies of the library I had never seen before. And we also got to see like where some of the magic happens, you know, down in some of the corners in some of those offices. So so that was good. So there were certain categories, I think, that we came up with, and I've shared these with Sherelle, but you know, our priority right now should be safety concerns. There are some hallways and stairwells that need to be attended to. Hallways, stairwells, landings that have that need to be attended to. There are some things that need to be dumped, chairs, blinds. We talked about signage for conference rooms and the need for more people for our conference room, our private rooms to be cleared out, and for more people to know about them so that they can be more private spaces publicized. Talked about the aesthetics, about some things that we can do right now that maybe wouldn't cost that much money, but would improve the interior look of the library, including carpets, paint, some ceiling panel, you know, changing those or updating those. And then we also talked about just general space design improvements. So, you know, one thing that we've heard from some people, and I can tell you, even my son, 9th grader, said that we need more quiet space in the library for people to do work. So that, you know, maybe some moving around of things, ways to make the library more attractive, and some more comfortable chairs. And there was some talk about possibly getting a design consultant to help us with that. I mean, it wouldn't have to be a big, you know, huge undertaking, but someone who we could just pay kind of, you know, by the hour to help us rearrange some of that space. So Sherelle, I don't know if you want to kind of take it from there or just move on.
So you'll be happy to know that the north entrance now looks like an entrance. There's not a lot of books there. We removed the desk so people don't even think to just drop things there and leave them. Totally cleared out for safety as well as aesthetics. So it looks totally different when you walk in. Blinds, those have been thrown out. We did move the snow blowers. They were DPW, but I'm looking for a solution because we can't have our guys every time they need to go, get a snow blower, have to run to DPW. If we have a snowstorm, it would be great if they can just, go somewhere on site and be able to, have their snow blowers as opposed to running around town getting them to clear the snow. Let's see. So, what else did we do? So downstairs, we're removing the chairs that was in that back corner, and we think that could possibly be some quiet space once we, paint and do some other things back there. That was the area where I was telling you we used to have the music, the CDs. And so, putting some tables back there would be nice for quiet space. So we're still working. I do think that the place could be brighter. I've spoken to Neil at Guardian, our building management company, and they're giving us an estimate for the first floor carpeting. There are a lot of safety issues. I think honestly, what I would really love to see in both buildings is better wire management rather than having, wires being shown, possibility of slipping even though they're taped. And then you have some rips in the carpet where, that are, possible safety hazards as well. So, I've started that process to get a quote for that. So we're moving along, and I really appreciate the time everyone took to walk through the entire building. So I think we can, before we get our bigger building and our renovated building, I do think there are some things that we definitely need to do.
There was one thing I think that's important that you didn't mention, and that is changing the door handles on the doors to safety.
Yeah, I'll talk about when we talk about the capital
Yeah,
budget.
but that was
yeah,
identified by us, so that will help us to get the money appropriated to do that project,
It was
right
actually
away.
something that was mentioned maybe 3 years ago, and they
Mhm.
came and they measured doors. I was leading that project, but then what happened? COVID happened. And then we had the reorg at the city level. So we're revisiting it again. So, and we're hoping because the locks are old, and so we're hoping that once we revisit that, we can change out our locks as well.
Okay, so I just on the note of the kind of renovation, bigger library, I think it's I am working to get a meeting with City Hall to just restart some conversations about timelines, footprint, and the and 11 Belden, 3 Belden and 11 Belden, to see what our next steps are related to those two properties. So stay tuned.
Well, but on that, timing is here because the option expires in March of 23. And so as the city moves through this budget, this capital budget, this item has to be addressed. So,
Absolutely.
yeah, so it's now, it's now, we gotta stay focused on it. So that's great. You've got it started.
Yeah, so Jess Vonacek of Economic Development and I are in touch. And so we're trying to set that up with the city. So
And I don't know if everybody's aware that number 3 Belden is now the office for redevelopment in that area. Economic development, and they had an opening on Friday, I think it was Friday, with Blumenthal and Himes and the mayor, and so there's a lot of focus with the city. They're using that space to promote the development of Wall Street.
Right. And I think what the opening was for a workforce or business kind of
Right,
economic
the
kind
stimulus for Wall Street.
of, so yeah, so that will also be a part of the discussion.
Well, it brings attention, a real focus to the site.
Yeah, for sure. Okay, so I think I'm done.
Mona, just before you, I'm going back to the government subcommittee. You did mention, you did forget to mention that we did also, because I made the suggestion that we were talking about commissioners and board members. We need to define, we're supposed to define what a board member is, what a commissioner is, because I don't think they're the same thing. So I want to just make that point.
Okay, yep. Got it.
Ready for me?
Yep.
Okay. So I put together our 2023-24 capital budget request. We requested the van last year. We did not receive it. It was said that we didn't go through the fleet company, but I think there may have been a misunderstanding because we most definitely went through the fleet company in order to get the state discount. So I'll be asking for that one again. Our van, I believe is roughly, it's over 16, years old. I think during COVID, we had, as things start breaking down, we're starting to get the costly repairs. It would also be nice to have the van where the guys can stand up and, so they're not hurting their backs and then calling out because they threw their back out, but they can actually stand up in the van to remove things. So that was put in the budget again. 3D printers and accompanying laptops.
Can I just ask a question about the van, and just for my own purposes and maybe for Laurel, like what is the van used for?
So the van, it makes the daily runs between the two libraries to pick up Sono books that are dropped off or returned at the main library and vice versa, items that are main libraries that are dropped off at Sono. So it does the daily run, taking things to the dump, like things that we're throwing out, dropping off our leaves and things like that. Also, picking up books, it goes to our pop-up sites. So we have East Norwalk, we have South Norwalk, we have the tax collector's office, and we have Shady Beach. Sometimes, they use, actually annually, they use us, for the mayor's ball, to drop off the TVs or whatever they need to have dropped off. So it's used quite a bit.
Okay. I was just trying to get a sense.
Nope,
Thanks.
I appreciate that question. And then, so.
I'm sorry, just to add something, Sherelle, if I can. I had requested of Mayor Rilling some time ago that when the city comes up with this plan about the location of electric vehicle charging stations, that the library get one. And I would hope that some consideration might be given to having the utility van be a electronic, at least a hybrid, if not fully electronic.
I did, I'm glad you said that, Alex. I did ask about that when I spoke to Ford, if they actually have them. They're quite expensive. So, I can always add that. And I think that's a great idea.
Well, if it's since the van takes a lot of short trips, these hybrids have it running on electricity for the first 35 or 40 or 50 miles, depending on the model. And longer trips get the full electric charge. And look, I mean, given the price of gas here, you have to net out. Yes, it's more expensive up front, but the operation of the van would be maybe get some savings. I don't know. I just think it's looking toward the future. If we're talking about a
Sure.
10 or 15 years, I think at least having a hybrid and an electric station, both for the van and for library customers would be, a really good idea.
So I think that's excellent. And I did think about it, but I remember when they gave me the price, I was like, okay, it was
Alex,
very expensive.
I like
But,
to add one
you
thing.
know what, I'll research that again.
I'd like to add one thing. When we have a pop-up truck in service, it does have a charging station
Yep.
at the library itself. So we do have one service already there. And I don't know if it uses the same power as what the van would use, but we do have a service already installed in the building.
Yep. Good point, Ralph. And I did ask the guys to stop parking the van in that area on the curb and to park it in one of the spots. Just so that when Vicky needs to get to the, she needs to get to it, she can for the pop-up truck. Or whoever's using it. So thank you for that point. Any other questions? Okay, so next were the 3D printers and accompanying laptops. That was part of last year's request, but we pushed that out to the next fiscal year. So I just, put that in, but that was part of last year's request as well for 2023-24. The ADA compliant doorknobs for the main library. So Sono has all ADA compliant doors, but the main doesn't. So, I spoke to Lamont and I spoke to Anna Vivian. So she has all the numbers, the count for all of the internal doors as well as the 3 external doors. So they're going to get back to me to see who's going to pay for it and what the amount will be.
Well, that couldn't be put in the capital budget?
It could, but if the city would pay for it, that's even better.
Well, city owns the building. Why wouldn't they pay for it?
Sure.
Why are we assuming that they won't pay for it? And I'm serious. I don't understand why we aren't asking them, which is why I brought it up earlier.
So I'll find out when we get the follow-up, and that should be the ask. And that was my understanding when we started the process a few years ago. So good point. Thank you. The outdoor furniture, I did ask Vicky and Cindy to get quotes. So hopefully next week I should have those quotes.
Cheryl, I wanted to ask you if you think that there are, maybe you and Brenda, right? Brenda, is that her name? The branch manager, what's her name? Sorry.
Oh, Laurel.
Laurel.
Yeah.
Sorry. If you and Laurel think that there is any space or would be any interest in having outdoor furniture at Sono, maybe not as many, but or depending on the space. So
I think that's a great idea. In the back, we have these 2 trees and a small yard, and the trees really prevent us from doing much back there. I think it will be great, even if, if we got rid of the grass, because we have the grassy area on the side if we wanted to do programming, but to have concrete put down and maybe to have, some outdoor furniture back there. I think that's a great idea. Is that something that you want us to look into?
yeah, I mean, I would, but yeah, sure. I think that's a good idea.
I'm sorry, I'm just writing right down. Okay. So let's see. So the Our Digitization project. So we, completed the digitization of the Norwalk Gazette and the South Norwalk Sentinel. The 5-year plan was developed to digitize the Norwalk Hour from 1872 to 1970, partnering with Newsbank. That's the organization that does the digitization. So the Norwalk Hour from 2006 to present is taken care of. Our request is to complete the digitization access to the hour for the years 1971 through 2006. And what's great about this is people don't necessarily have to come into the history room to do it. It would be on our website, and they can search it via website as well. And I think that's just phenomenal. So the reference team fields many local research questions that fall into those missing years. 1970 was our last digitized year. I'm sorry, I don't know why I'm stumbling over that word, for the hour. And that's, that's more than 50 years ago. So the remaining undigitized years are critical for our history. We have many local historians. A gentleman I used to work with at the hour, he's in all the time, just looking for things for one of his columns. So I think it, again, it would provide a searchable index, and it would enable staff to expedite the process of locating the local history. So completing the missing years would enable our library to provide a complete run of the hour that's available on our website 24/7. Important resource, again, for the historians and the Norwalk community to permanently connect the Norwalk's past to its future with a searchable digital edition. So I think that's something that we definitely should do. Norwalk history is so phenomenal.
Can I just address that, because I'm not sure now. You and I, Sherelle, had talked about the potential of asking the city to expedite that plan and just to get it done in this next capital budget. And I think it's a service that, we're not getting the physical things that we want and need for, a library that we want, but at least we can get the intellectual pieces moved forward. So it might be a good argument that we can sell and get it done in the next capital budget year, rather than spread it out over 3 or 4 more years. So I'd like the board to think about that and endorse, decide whether they want to endorse that concept to ask for it in the capital budget.
But does that 119,000 that's not the completion, that's only part,
That's the total project.
that's
So
the remainder of the total project.
Yeah,
that's the
right.
total project, not, before we did it like year by year and pushed it out, but that would be the price for the total project.
Yeah, and I think there's a savings. I've seen it somewhere. I forget what it is, but there is a savings.
Yeah, there's a small savings for doing it.
Yeah. I gotta try to remember where I've seen that, but
Are the kind of the pre 1970 and post 2006, those have all been digitized, and are they available online?
Those are available. It's just the
Yeah.
missing years,
Just this one piece, yeah.
1971 through 2006.
Good. I mean,
yeah, so I would like to see us go for it.
Me too.
What have we got to lose?
I mean, it has to happen. So it's very important.
Extremely. Any other questions?
But I guess so right now, has it been planned over several years so that?
That's how we did
Yes.
it in the past. The
Okay.
city does like that, where you're not paying for everything at once, but you're, pushing it out. So maybe we do like, 1 year or 2 years in this next ask, 2 years, in the subsequent ask. So But I agree with Patsy, it would be great if we could just close this project all at once.
It is planned out and the paperwork someplace in the city records. And I've looked at so many recently because of charter revision that
Mhm.
I'm not sure where I've seen it. But,
Well, I
but I
can pull
do
it
rem-
up if you want
yeah,
it. Okay, hold on one
but I
second.
think we have a good argument to get those kind of things, more, more computer spaces, all that intellectual piece of needs for the library if we're not getting a new building within a couple of years.
So with the installment, year one would be 35,000. Year two would be 22,800, as would year three and year four. And then year five would be 22,351.
And the total is the total there?
Let's see, I can do it really quickly. I had it somewhere else, but I don't have that pulled up. Give me just 1 second. So the total would be 7,000, roughly 7,500.
No,
I'm
no.
sorry, 750,000.
Are you sure?
Yeah, that's right. Let me do it one more time. 3500. I'm sorry, Patsy, you're absolutely right. So 125, 751. So the savings would be so the difference is roughly $6,000.
When do you have to have that into the city, the request?
So I'm working on that now. I haven't gotten the dates as yet. But I'll take a look and I'll send that out tomorrow. Well, hold on 1 second. Let me just see something.
Send it out to us?
Yeah, well, actually, I think I may have it. I couldn't print it the other day because
Yeah.
something was wrong with the printer, but I can send it. I was trying to scan it. I wanted to print it and scan it, but I couldn't do it. But let me just see.
Well, I tried and I couldn't do it either.
Yeah, no, it was something with us. It was something wrong with the printer. With the way the printer and the computer, they just weren't reading each other. Let's see, so this would be, give me 1 second, Tom Ellis. I think. So many emails, I'm so sorry.
But what are we doing? Sorry.
I was looking for the dates. You know what, Patsy, let me see if I can print it and then I can just send it to everyone so you can have, like I did last year where you had all the dates for everything. So I'll send that out tomorrow.
Okay.
Is that okay? Should I move on?
Yeah.
Yeah, please, go ahead.
Okay, I wasn't sure. All right, so also our smart money manager needs to be upgraded. We have no choice actually, because the organization itself, we've run out of life for the model that we have. So we, you know, need to upgrade that. We can migrate to the cloud, which is a better option for security. So we, you know, we pay the vendor a fee to do so. And then it will affect our operating budget, not by much, but we have no choice really to use it because we have no service options on it anymore. And so Smart Money Manager is, remember when we were separating from Friends and other organizations. So Smart Money Manager is basically how we, you know, take in our money and keep track of it, keep track of what's donations, you know, what are bills. So we definitely need to have that upgraded.
So it's like your accounting system,
For
kind of.
sure. Mhm. And so the ILS system, which is Integrated Library System, in your packet last month, you know, it showed you the huge difference. I think we've had this system at least for the last 20 years, and it's a all around better product for the patrons who are searching. It's a lot cleaner and just a better searching tool. So we really need to upgrade from Sierra to what's called Vegas LX, or Vega, sorry, LX. And then the final ask would be a business center. You know, we have a lot of people coming in using the library for business, for meetings, and it would be great, you know, just to have, when they can come in and they can have, you know, shredders, they can have, you know, just the much needed information, the much needed equipment for a business center. Not that we copy anyone, but Darien has a really nice business center where you can go in and just, you know, whatever you need to do your business. It's a small room, it's not private, but you know, it's just phenomenal for anyone who needs the equipment, whether it's, you know, staplers,
Copiers.
shredder, yep. Faxing,
Scanners, faxes.
scanners, yes.
So the 15,000, but that's not broken out. So like that, what's included? Do you have, do you know off the top of your head, what's
So
included?
office equipment,
Or
like
big ticket?
outfitting the area, you know, in the library, you know, facility with ease of access. You know, for patrons who are seeking assistance. So something that's movable, you know, lockable counter space. So just whatever you would envision. Like I think of when you go into like, what's that place called? It's on Connecticut Avenue, where you can, oh God, I can't think of the name of it, but just, you know, an office center for people who don't have the space in their home, or, you know, for people who can't concentrate at home, and that could be their little business area.
Yeah, that's like FedEx. FedEx has that for businesses. And when you go into their store, FedEx store, they have that.
That's the one, yep, on Connecticut.
Mhm. Mhm.
Where would this be located in the library?
So we would have to look at space, but we're thinking somewhere not too far from reference in case people need assistance.
Could something like that room next to the Blue Teapot? Is that the kind of self-enclosed space you're thinking of?
I think that might be a little small for the area, but you know, certainly if we want to use it as a private space, I think, you know, that could be great. But we would, you know, definitely have to bring in someone to let us know, you know, where we could put it.
Yeah, I mean, it sounds like something we should have had already because it's the
Right.
library. But yeah, I mean, having gone through the space so carefully, it's almost like, where would we put it? So yeah.
That area right there where that
think-
whole space is empty. Where
You mean
there's nothing, it's not being utilized there. I mean, you have the chairs there, but right there. Where you
But
get,
there's-
right in the
there's-
front?
yeah, not in front, right by the, that area right there where,
For all those chairs, yeah.
yeah,
I
all
think
those
that
chairs,
area we were
yeah.
looking at for quiet space because downstairs is a little.
No, I'm talking about upstairs where the
Oh.
teapot, that area right there. There's a whole wide space there and it's not being utilized.
Are you talking about near the windows in the back of the library?
Yeah,
We're
but that
talking-
aisle there, where I think we used to have, where you have,
The
events,
Judas
whatever,
Rivas
but that
room?
space is not being used, so why not put it right there? Part of it anyway.
Well,
It's
it
totally
might be,
consistent.
Janie,
Yeah.
it might be because that's far away from staff, but
From
you know,
staff,
so if you
yeah.
need it near staff, you can
Mhm.
move some of the book racks back to the other space.
Mhm.
Yeah,
Or
you
I
can-
was
That's just
thinking
a
even
whole
along
space
the
there.
back of the library where you have the natural sunlight.
Mhm.
I think the back of the library somewhere, I think that would be phenomenal. But you know, all of them are great ideas. I think we will need an expert or someone who can come in and tell us where, you know, would be the best, what would be the best option.
Mhm.
So that's what I have for the capital request.
Okay, what's next? Access service.
So
Job
that-
description.
Yep, that job description is in your packet if you have any questions. And that position has already been funded. So just now getting it to personnel to be advertised.
So that would be the next step, right? To just, okay.
I just had a question about what you meant by off-site collections.
So, like you can have, so right now we have them in the tax office where people can go in and those are free, but we could also have off-site collections where people could actually, you know, they could check them out before we sent them to them. So just say like barbershops or different things. I met with the state and they're doing, library without, I want to say Libraries Without Borders. And so looking to set up space like in laundromats, like barbershops, beauty shops. I'm even thinking like maybe some of the Haitian Creole speaking churches or some of the Spanish speaking churches. So those would be like our offsite.
I've often brought up, you know, senior housing or assisted living locations and, you know, are we really organized to service all of them in Norwalk? There are quite a few now. And
There
it's,
are.
that's only gonna get more clients as we're aging. To me, that's natural with
You're
a
not
pop-up.
aging.
Yeah, well, tell me about it. You know, I've mentioned this since we got the pop-up to have them not just go to parks for kids, but to have them go to the senior areas or, you know, the senior center. What are we doing? How are we interfacing with them? I know they have some libraries themselves, but I think we should do a reach out to the community in those kind of spaces.
Oh, I agree. And I know Cindy does book club. Cindy does a great job of reaching out to them. We did at one point before COVID, I had an offsite collection at Brightview where we would check it out to them and then their
Yeah,
residents. would
right,
go and
right.
check. So we can certainly revisit that.
Yeah, and if you have this type of position, they, you know, that could be really.
Oh, for sure. For the homebound and. yeah,
Right.
Yeah. So I'm very excited about the position. It won't be like, you know, your typical circulation. It'll be much more customer service. It'll just be a revamping. Customer service, you know, how are our policies really, you know, affecting customers listening to what they want after all they're the taxpayers who are paying our salaries. So I'm really excited about the position and the possibilities.
So in your ideal world, when would they start?
Yesterday.
Well, I mean, okay, you know.
Oh, I guess February. Because we'd have to go out, maybe leave it open for a month. That would be my ideal, city. Sometimes it's, personnel may have other ideas, but my ideal would be leave it open for a month. Start the interview process and have somebody
Yeah,
ready by
quarter.
Saturday.
Next year. Yeah,
I'm sorry, yeah,
okay.
since it's already funded and, they've saved a lot because we haven't filled it yet.
Okay, great.
Okay, is there a question, Cheryl?
Sure.
So, this job description mentions a lot about access services team members.
Mm-hmm.
Who are they?
They would be the current people that we have right now in circulation.
So it's circulation related.
I would want to revamp it and make it more customer service friendly, more, pop-up sites, off-site locations. So definitely not your typical circulation, definitely not.
So when it says here, like example of duties, the second bullet, that it supervises full and part-time access services team members.
Mm-hmm.
Are those any current employees other than circulation staff?
No, we may want to consider, hiring, but no, not at present.
Okay.
Okay, let's see. So Lauren is working on, the cost to pack up the books and move the shelves. And to her credit, it's just like with what many people are going through with vendors. People just don't always get right back to you. So we do have someone coming out on Monday, to take a look. There's three organizations that we're looking at. One of them is ready, to come out, so she is working on that. And she does know that time is of the essence to get that number.
But we have no gut feeling at all.
Unfortunately, we don't. Even, one vendor, they have our square footage, we took pictures. But we don't, unfortunately. I've asked Neil, he didn't have any recommendations. So
What about-
hopefully Monday we will have a ballpark, figure.
Yeah, I mean, maybe like Westport maybe someone over there,
I
Westport.
emailed all of the local people. Many of them have had their renovations like a long time ago. So
Yeah.
there's no real, so trust me, I use library directors' knowledge very heftily.
Yeah,
Oh, yep, I tried all of that. Some of them, it was a while ago. So Monday, she does have someone coming out, so we'll see how that goes.
yeah. Okay, because then we can kind of start,
Sure, for sure.
to get that project
And
going.
she's aware that time is of the essence, but you can't make people call you, but we can keep bugging them though.
And what's the reason that we can't move all the books upstairs into the auditorium?
So that's one option that I did ask her to look at, the cost of moving them upstairs. So it would really boil down to whether we want to keep upstairs open, for adult service during that time. Whether we want to keep the bestsellers, up there so people can come in and utilize, because the children's department will stay open. So it just
Well,
depends.
how long, what's the downtime?
Initially, they were Silver Petroselli was thinking 3 months. Now it's kind of been 2 since we're doing it all at once. So somewhere between 2 and 3 months. So we're thinking April
Yeah,
and
and
May.
measured that against, half of the space upstairs being used for books. It would seem to be cheaper to do it that way,
to store them
more
upstairs.
cost efficient, and we'd have the books available for our clients.
Mhm.
if you pack them up and put them someplace, you've lost that facility
For sure.
during the winter, right?
Well, it would be more spring.
Right.
But so
Okay.
she is looking at all of the cost options.
Okay. Okay.
So the option of moving them upstairs and moving and storing. So
Mhm.
but basically those are the two options, right?
So we could probably, can we put stacks upstairs? Can we, so there's different things that I've asked her to look at. Like putting the stacks upstairs and having, people be able to browse upstairs. Or maybe we just have our bestsellers, the new books upstairs, or do we just pack them and store them until it's over? So we're getting prices for those three things.
Okay.
Let's see, so next, there are the proposed library board meeting dates.
Can I ask you about this? Like, so about this, all meetings will remain virtual. Is that like, has the cities basically said,
I believe that's what I put on there, that per the city, so that's a city. It's not a Sherelle thing, it's.
no, I know, but I'm saying like, there's no,
We can certainly speak to them and find out, but as far as I know, they want, the meetings to be virtual with the exception of the two that are there. And I think one of them is, the committee, I guess the ordinance committee, or not the ordinance committee, the bylaw, I guess the city is overhauling their bylaws, so there's the bylaws committee and,
Is it charter revision?
charter revision, thank you,
All right, that's the one that I'm chairing.
yes. So that one that's an exception. And then, the common council, I believe.
okay. So I think we should vote on this, vote on these dates and.
I move approval.
Yeah. And I don't have it in front of me, but does it say that their Zoom meetings but is subject to city policy? Is that clear? So that if city policy changes, we just can have non-Zoom meetings or hybrid meetings?
Yeah, I just listed what the city wrote about the Zoom meetings, so I do have that underneath.
I move approval.
Laurel seconds, or Mary seconds. Laurel seconds, all in favor?
Aye.
Okay,
So I
Passes.
also, so thank you for that. And I listed the tax help schedule, so we're at the time of year already. And that service is phenomenal. Particularly for, low income people who would go to other places and they take half of their return as a fee. So they're getting their total returns, and just the work that Pat and Paul, and I'm thinking of somebody, Pat, Paul, and oh gosh, I'm missing someone. But they're so dedicated, and just it's phenomenal. So we'll have one day a week at Sono, one day a week at Maine, and then they'll alternate Saturdays at both libraries. And that gives that way the libraries don't lose their programming capability on Saturdays.
That's great. My one request is that we keep some metrics on how many people are coming.
Oh, they do that every year.
Okay.
Every year they do it.
Yeah, and it maybe, if it would be possible for them to do it in some kind of way that they can, like a report that they can share with us, I think that would be really helpful.
Okay. And then finally, I hate to disappoint everyone, but I tried to get the registrars today, but I couldn't get them. Ron actually, who is works in that office, he actually called me and texted me. He's away, so he didn't have the information. And I've not heard from the other two in the office. But I can tell you that turnout was great for the library for what is this, District A, very steady. Starting in the morning, you know, when they opened, people were ready. I took more of the evening shift and it was just steady, all not a lull, just totally steady. So once I get the numbers, I can share that, but unfortunately, I don't have the total numbers tonight.
I think I saw them someplace and it was like 900.
Oh, where'd you see it?
I can't
You have
remember where I
connections
saw.
we don't have, Patsy?
Huh?
You have
I
connections we don't have?
I guess. Yeah. Anyway, how did the parking part go? That was what I was concerned about.
No, everything was fine.
Oh,
And,
good.
I didn't meet the first officer because they have, you know, one officer in the morning and then one
Yeah.
in the evening. I took the evening, so Lieutenant, I think it was Lieutenant or Sergeant, phenomenal. Just very personable, but you know, definitely kept the eye out because, you know, I guess we were a carry, like we can, you know, the gun carrying law. I can't remember what it's called, but you know, he was definitely looking out for that. But there were no issues at all. But he was phenomenal. He was both upstairs, downstairs. Just so shout out to, I think it's Sergeant or Lieutenant or and to the voters. I mean, like I said, there was not a dull moment.
Well, that's great. I'm really happy that it's worked out so smoothly. And were there any candidates and campaigning outside, and where did they stand? I was curious about that.
75 feet away.
Wow.
So they definitely have their signs, which they need to pick up. But some of them did, like afterward, they kind of came in because they wanted to get the numbers for the site. So they were kind of just running around, you know, to the different sites. So Mr. Ayala, I did see Mr. Ayala and I saw, oh gosh, why am I blanking? Actually, the person who won, the District A. So both of them came to get the numbers. But I didn't see, I think most of them spend their time like at West Rocks and bigger sites. Kadeem, I'm sorry to blank. Kadeem
Yes.
Roberts.
I think a great use of the library, and it's great that it went so well. Are you going to be in touch with, I guess, is it Stuart?
Mhm.
About the
That's who
possibility?
I'm trying to get the numbers from, but I
Okay.
think they want to continue. It's going very well.
Okay.
And they're so organized, just the way they get in, the way they get out, very, very, very organized.
So I think we voted to do kind of a trial with the primary and this election, so that maybe on a future agenda, we can, you know, talk about doing this longer term and possibly voting on whether we, you know, want that.
Sure. There may be another primary in August, and we know there's definitely going to be another election next November.
Great. Is that the last thing on the agenda?
That's it for me.
Okay, so any old business? Any new business?
I don't know if it's exactly new business, but I need a Zoom connection for the foundation meeting. I can't find it on my screen. So please do send it.
Sure, we can send it.
It's with the agenda, the foundation agenda.
No, I can't find it. It's not, I can't connect to it.
Okay, I'm gonna send it
I'm
to,
happy to send it, no problem.
Okay.
Thank you.
But I do want to mention something, that when people were voting, they were also looking at the free books. So they were voting and taking the free books too, and they were so happy about those free books.
That's great.
That was phenomenal. It was phenomenal.
yeah, it's like vote and pick up a book. Where else? It's cool.
No, it was, I was so happy I was there for those 3-4 hours. It was nice.
Well, keep in mind, during pandemic, that's when we got a real sample for free books.
Mm-hmm.
During the 18 months that we were able to record how many visitors, without returning anything, took over 75,000 books from the library that normally would have gone to be dumped.
Mm-hmm.
They did a fantastic job.
Amazing. Okay, everybody, we'll see.
I move to adjourn.
Oh, sorry. Okay, second.
Okay,
All in favor?
Aye.
fine. Thank you.
All right, everyone.
Thank you, Patsy. for that.
Take care. See you soon, actually.